Hi, this is Mato. In this video I will show you the game between Magnus Carlsen and Viswanathan. This is game 6 from the World Chess Championship that was played in Sochi in 2014. World champion Magnus Carlsen had white pieces and he started with e4. Challenger Viswanathan played c5, Sicilian defense, knight to f3, e6, d4, c takes on d4, knight takes on d4, a6, going for Khan variation of the Sicilian defense, and Carlsen played c4, Maroczy bind, preventing d5. Knight to f6, attacking the pawn on e4, defending bishop to b4, pinning the knight and threatening knight takes pawn on e4, queen to d3, defending the pawn, knight to c6, knight takes knight, black to move, how to recapture, b takes c6 or d takes c6. Generally it is better to capture towards the center, but in this particular case d takes on c6 is better. Queen takes queen, king takes queen. 9 moves have been played and queens are off the board. Question to you: is this the endgame or the queenless middle game? White to move. Carlsen played e5, attacking the knight. How should black continue? Knight to d7 or knight to e4? Anand played knight to d7. There was another game in the database. Black played knight to e4, and after a3, bishop takes knight, pawn takes bishop. This was the game Flores and Lemos, played in 2008, and black lost the game. So Anand played knight to d7, attacking the pawn on e5, defending bishop takes knight, damaging the pawn structure at the expense of the bishop pair. White to move. How should white recapture? Just kidding. King to c7, h4, b6, making the room for the bishop on b7, h5, h6, weakening the pawn on g7. But if bishop to b7, for example, then h6, and then black would have to play g6, because pawn takes pawn is even worse. Too much pressure on the pawn on h7. So we have h6, and Magnus Carlsen castled queenside. Bishop to b7, rook to d3. The rook is going to g3 to attack the pawn on g7. c5, bringing the bishop on b7 to life. Who is better, white or black? White is much better, according to Kramnik. Do you agree? Rook to g3, attacking the pawn, defending. Bishop to d3, knight to f8, bishop to e3, g6, bishop to c6 is better, according to Carlsen. g6, pawn takes pawn on g6, knight takes on g6, attacking the pawn on e5. How to defend the pawn? Carlsen played the best move. Rook to h5, bishop to c6, bishop to c2. Why? I will show you the variation which explains why bishop to c2 is played here. For example, if bishop takes on h6, knight takes on e5, after rook takes rook, black has in between move, and after king to d2, rook takes rook, and black is better. So Carlsen is removing the target. King to b7, rook to g4, a5, trying to create counterplay on the opposite wing. Bishop to d1, rook to d8, occupying the open file. Bishop to c2, sending the rook back to defend the knight on g6. White has the pressure, and white is better. But how to win? Carlsen was creating his plan, and Anand was creating his plan. This is a very interesting moment of the game. Carlsen wants to get his king closer to the pawns on king side. How would you continue? Would you play king to d1 or king to d2? King to d1 is better for this purpose. Carlsen played king to d2. Anand thought for a minute and continued with his original plan, missing the chance to win, and completely turned the tables. Anand played a4. So now you know this is the most critical position of the game, with black to move. Can you find the best move for black? The best and the winning is knight takes on e5. If rook takes knight, rook takes rook. If rook takes on g8, then knight takes on c4 check, king to d3, knight to b2 check, king to d2, rook takes rook, attacking the pawn on g3. After g3, black has knight to c4 check, rook to d8 check, and even this interesting move, attacking the rook. And after rook takes on h6, check, king to e1, knight takes bishop, pawn takes knight, rook takes on g3. Black is 2 pawns up. And even after this move, black is still better, attacking the pawn on a2 and 1 on e3. Okay, in the game we have a4, king to e2, a3. It turned out that this was quite bad and possibly the losing move. f3, rook to d8. White to move. How would you continue? Is it safe to capture the knight on g6? Carlsen played king to e1, hesitating for some reason. It is possible to capture, and after pawn takes, rook takes would be crashing through. This doesn't work because of check. Okay, we have king to e1, rook to d7, bishop to c1. Now bishop takes on g6 is not so effective because of rook from h to d8, threatening check, rook to a1, rook takes pawn, and pushing the pawn to a1. Carlsen played bishop to c1, threatening to murder the poor pawn on a3, defending the pawn, king to e2, bishop to a4, hoping to exchange bishops, bishop to e4 check, and after the game it was concluded that king to a7 was the best move. This is losing the rook and perhaps also losing the game. In the game we have bishop to c6, and now bishop takes on g6, pawn takes bishop, rook takes pawn. After this, black's position is totally collapsing. Bishop to a4, rook takes pawn on a6, rook to d1 attacking the bishop, bishop takes pawn on a3, rook to a1 threatening rook takes pawn check, winning the bishop, king to e3, bishop to c2, discovered attack on the bishop on a3, rook to e7 check, black resigned. In view of this variation, king to a6, rook takes pawn on h6, and if now rook takes on a2 attacking the bishop, then bishop takes on c5. The threat is rook takes pawn on b6, defending, attacking again, defending, and now g4. The pawn is marching to g8 to be promoted to a reindeer. I'm just kidding. To a queen. What a fight! Carlsen was very lucky to get away with the blunder he made at move 26. Do you agree? Had Anand won the game, it would have a huge psychological effect for the rest of the match. He would even have a chance to get his title back. Let's go back to this most critical position of the game. And Anand missed knight takes on e5. What do you think of this game? And that is all. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. I wish you good luck with your chess, and bye for now.